Well, good morning, everyone. Thank you for joining us and welcome to Friday, March 18th. My name is Len Dumas, Executive Director and Chief Operating Officer for the Northern California section of the PGA of America. And on behalf of the NCPGA and SCPGA sections and our leadership, thank you. Thank you for the support and your continued attendance for our California Nevada chats. Our chat team, Tom Addis, Executive Director and Chief Executive Officer, the Southern California section, Nikki Gatch, Assistant Executive Director and Chief Operating Officer, Jeff Johnson, Chief Financial Officer of the Southern California section, Bryce Seaver, who's our communications guru, getting us on the air, and Shelby Zell, aiding us here in the North. Our guest today, we're thrilled to have PGA Master Professional and Lpga member Kathy Harbin joining us from a Board of Directors meeting. And fingers crossed, country music legend Vince Gill will be on later, and Kevin Fitzgerald, Assistant Director for the Public Affairs for the Southern California Golf Association. And I'd like to start with some opening remarks, and I'll toss it to my good friend and colleague, Tom Addis. Tom?
Yeah, thanks, Len, and good morning, everybody. And it's great to be with you on this Friday, nearing the first day of spring. And we can start wearing our Aloha shirts and all those kinds of things that I'm looking forward to. But we appreciate you being here and appreciate everybody's assistance. Len already mentioned, of course, Nikki and Bryce and how important they are to working with us. And we hope this show will be a great one today with Kathy, one of the busiest PGA golf professionals that I know in this country. And of course, Vince Gill and the excitement there, currently with the Eagles band. As a matter of fact, he is in Chicago for the opening concert tomorrow night. So if he joins us, hopefully hopefully when he joins us, he'll be from Chicago. But in the meantime, it's my honor to introduce the president of the Southern California PGA, Mr. Robin Shelton.
Well, hey, Tom, thank you for the kind words, and thank you, everybody, for being here this morning. I think these Cal Chats provide so much value and so much opportunity to learn and be educated. You know, we talk about, hey, how do we become better yesterday, or better, how do we become better tomorrow than we were yesterday? And I think these Cal Chats provide a great opportunity to do so, give us good opportunities to discuss and be educated on what's relevant. And I think, hey, we've got a pretty dynamic speakers series lined up today. Kathy Harbin, if you haven't spent any time with her, once you hear her talk, I'm sure you'll realize not only she's one of the most special people in our industry, her background is so diverse and done so much for the game. So looking forward to just being educated from her. She's got so much to share. Tom said she's incredibly busy, but talk about an influencer, a game changer, and a trailblazer for our industry. So should be super cool. So I hope you all enjoy today's Cal Nevada chat and just become more educated and become better from your time with our speaker. So enjoy today's education. And Tom, back to you.
Thanks, Robin. Appreciate that. And Len, here we go.
Okay, Tom, Robin, thank you, Mr. President. Thank you for the remarks. And ladies and gentlemen, our first guest, Kathy Harbin, who is elected to PGA membership in 1992, is also a master professional, as well as an Lpga member and currently vice president of the National Golf Course Owners Association. Kathy managed the World Golf Village golf courses for 12 years and is known for leading training and operational systems to create world-class experiences. As executive director of Golf 2020 for 3 years, Kathy drove the World Golf Foundation mission to increase awareness and participation in our great game, having led the launch of Get Golf Ready, which has contributed over $1 billion to the golf industry, Golf Inc. named Kathy as one of the most admired golf course operators, and Golf News named her as Woman of the Year. In addition to receiving numerous PGA chapter and section awards, she's been recognized by the Florida Times Union as one of the 7 most powerful women in sports, and by the Jacksonville Business Journal as a woman of influence. And very exciting, most recently, Kathy was appointed to the board of directors of the Payne Stewart Foundation. Kathy, welcome, and thank you for for joining us and everything that you've done for us and continue to do. It's an honor to have you address everybody. This morning, we talked about a couple of things, Kathy, but please talk to us about what's near and dear to your heart: diversity, inclusion, the Legends Tour, a place to play, and play with a pro. Kathy, thank you, welcome, and it's all yours.
Thank you very much for having me, and thank all of you for giving me the opportunity to virtually say hello to the folks in Southern California. And it's exciting to be a part of this group this morning, and I appreciate the opportunity to talk a little bit about some things that are happening on the national level from the board of directors position, and just some things that are happening on the grassroots level, which for me is it's something that will never leave me, no matter how far I go into my career. So first we'll start with what I'm working on from the board level, and there are several committees that are really doing great work out there right now, and we're all proud of the contribution that golf professionals make to really make life better for so many people. And what we're focusing on now, in particular, it's some of the things that I'm focusing on is you'll know it as soon as I say it: retention, recruitment. What are we doing to get more talented golf professionals in our ranks and at our golf courses across the country? What are we doing to attract the talent that's out there? How are we making golf an attractive place to work? We all know it's a cool place to work, and we all know that it's a great environment to work in, and it's fun. But there really is a concerted, intentional effort right now by the PGA of America, by the board of directors for the PGA of America, to focus on recruitment and retention. We just added 4 new recruiters nationwide that will help with that. And I'm actually at the board meeting now, and I slipped out for a little while to speak to you folks. And we spent most of the morning actually talking about recruitment and retention, and what's the paradigm shift we might have to be looking at going into the future to make this game more attractive, to make being a part of the PGA of America more attractive. And we ended with, hey, that's a lot of great ideas. Now let's do something. So we started with a laundry list of ideas, and we ended up with some action items. And I think you're all going to be proud of that work as well. The other things that from the PGA of America standpoint that I'm working on, the committee is called A Place to Play. And really the mission of the committee is to bring the game to people where they are and introduce people to the game of golf where they are. And we're working on some, it's a very new committee, so we're working on some new programs to help some golf courses that might be in need, some municipal golf courses or just some public golf courses that are the access areas for people to enter the game, and that maybe are struggling, and that we can help them with that. So our committee has some funds to be able to help with those kind of projects. We just completed a project in West Palm Beach that's going to give great access to that community. We want to take that model and take it across the country to other places where we can increase access. I know many of us, we started our playing golf at places just like that. I started at a lit 9-hole golf course that was, you'd never hit anything more than about a 8-iron, and I know many other people did the same, and we want to make sure that those golf courses and those kind of opportunities continue to survive. And that's one of the main things about our Place to Play mission. The other thing that we're doing is we're calling it our legacy. Wherever we go and we host a championship, for example, PGA Championship this year at Southern Hills in Tulsa, Oklahoma, we're going to create some kind of a park, very accessible, very non-golfer friendly park where we're going to touch a lot of lives, bring people into this environment where they see golf in a different light, and hopefully connect to the game. So we've got a nice park that's going into the Tulsa, Oklahoma, that following the PGA Championship there. We've got a great program in the DC area following the Women's KPMG Championship there. That this particular program is actually a mobile instructional program that will actually, like I said, go to where they are, or where the people are that are interested in the game, and introduce the game to them. So so really cool things happening in that arena. And then the other focus I have is from the adult player development standpoint. It's we've initiated this new program, and it's called Play with a Pga Coach. So it's a pretty dynamic program. It can be on someone's phone. It can be on your Pga.coach app, where you can actually send out an invitation to anyone that you have an email address to or a phone number to, and you can invite them to play 9 holes with you. Or we've changed it actually from 9 holes to, it could be any amount of holes. It could be 3 holes. But you can, as a PGA professional, you can invite people to come and play with you. You can charge for this. A lot of the people that we're saying you can make money at this because you're a talented instructor. You can use the money for charity, or you can just use it to build relationships. But it's a great program. All those talented people in our IT department have created a platform where it's very easy to use through the Pga.coach app. And we're going to encourage a lot of people to really get involved with that and reach out and play. It's one of the reasons that a lot of people got in the game, and we get busy. It's easy for us to not get out and play, but this is a motivator for us to get out, continue those relationships, build new relationships, help people, I should say, be comfortable with the game by being out there with them and showing them around the golf course. So those are really the 3 main focuses from the PGA of America Board of Directors, and a lot of other great things happening with other committees and other board members. From a different perspective, my perspective personally, I like to stay busy, and so there's a lot of great things going on with me. I go from the spectrum of new entry into the game all the way to the Legends Tour. We're Legends of the Lpga Tour players. So just to speak a little bit about that, I actually own a golf course in Paris, Texas. So I get to do a lot of this stuff at the grassroots level. And as many of you can attest to, the ability to see someone connect to the game and see their lives change as a result of that, I can't imagine anything more rewarding as a PGA professional. And so not only do I try to do that at the facility, but I try to help anywhere that I can to do that at the national level. So many things many of us are involved in PGA Junior League and trying to reach out to kids through that program, which has been highly successful on every level. Just encourage everyone to continue to, if you're not doing it, look into that. If you are doing it, continue to make it grow. Look into the new initiative, the Family Cup. There's so much to be able to get the families together. We say it all the time. No one's gonna grab their kid and go out and play tackle football, but they will grab their kid and go out and have a little putting contest. So what a great family activity we continue to provide to people through golf. So the other thing is just announced, many of you just saw the Payne Stewart Kids Golf Foundation. And this is a great new initiative in honor and in name of Payne Stewart. And we're working with connecting with the Boys and Girls Clubs across the United States, and again going to where they are already and reaching the kids at a level where they're trying to pick sports out. So many other sports touch our kids across the nation at the ages of 3, 4, 5, and we can miss that in golf. So this particular foundation is reaching the kids at Boys and Girls Club across the nation, and we're introducing golf to them right there at the club. They don't have to come to a golf course. We'll eventually, hopefully, be able to take them there. But the whole idea behind the program is to go introduce them to the game, and hopefully they will be able to see some success and just fall in love with the game. And I did some of these programs again at my golf course this summer, and it's pretty interesting to see that you can see pretty quickly when someone has an aptitude for the game, and even though they may not have the proper fundamentals or they may not have the skill set yet, you can just see when there's a flowing swing and they have an aptitude for it and they fall in love with it immediately. And again, we get to do a lot of rewarding things as golf professionals, and that certainly is one of them. So we want to continue I want to continue to spend a lot of time on that, because it is, as Lynn mentioned earlier, it is an opportunity not only to reach kids at an early level, but to reach a diverse background of kids where maybe they wouldn't be introduced to golf otherwise with the Boys and Girls Club. So we're happy about the diversity that we're bringing to the game through our foundation, and we look forward to changing some lives. Frankly, we all know that golf does change lives, and this is a great opportunity for that to happen. And all the folks that are in the middle of their lives, that are just out there trying to work for a living and enjoy the game, we always have the Get Golf Ready program continues to be vibrant, continues to be successful at many clubs. There's a lot of golf professionals that have taken that and really made it into something significant at their place. Get Golf Ready 1, Get Golf Ready 2, Get Golf Ready 3, and Get Golf Ready graduate outings and things like that. So I continue to encourage people to use that platform or some version of it. You don't have to call it Get Golf Ready, but to have a program where you are making it available and easy for entry-level people to enter the game in a comfortable environment. And the one thing we always say about a program like that is that you're not trying to create tour players, but you are trying to increase confidence and comfort with the game of golf so that they continue to come back time and time again. So the other thing that is, I encourage all of you to, we have it coming up June 7th, the Women's Golf Day is a great program to get women into the game. And I've got a great story about that. Very first one I had 5 years ago at my golf course. I've been working with a couple of ladies. One was doing my graphic design, and one of them just had hosted a tournament. And I invited them out to Women's Golf Day, and they told me the story later. When they arrived, they're in the parking lot texting each other, and they're like, I Googled what to wear. I have a yoga pants. You think it's going to be okay? Yeah, I didn't bring any clubs. You think we need clubs? So I tell this story because there's genuinely a fear factor when it comes to women entering the game, and Women's Golf Day is a great program to be able to have one day where they know they're going to be with their peers, and there's a lot of comfort to that. And hopefully you can take those women and turn them into golfers. And I will say that those two women are now members of the club. They're out there all the time with their families, and they really love playing golf. And it went from texting in the parking lot about what they're wearing. And the last thing I'm going to touch on is one role that I've taken on that's pretty interesting and exciting. And I've taken on the executive director of operations for the Legends of the Lpga. And we all like to honor the folks who have made an impact on our lives and have frankly changed the game. And the Legends of the Lpga certainly fall into that category, where the players that you watch, that you see out there now, the Patty Sheehans of the world, the Pat Bradleys, the Betsy Kings, we all remember watching those. And now we have Annika starting to play in some of these events. Our now U.S. Women's Senior Open champion is playing in more events this year. She's going to be playing in the Lpga Senior Championship this year, along with both U.S. Opens. And so my focus for the next little bit is to get that tour in a better place. And as I've said many times, that if these professional women who have been highly talented and are still can go out there and play with anyone, if they want a place to play, I'd love to help them have the chance to have a place to play. And they're highly competitive. And as I was talking to some of them about it, they're like, yeah, we love the pro-ams. We bring the people out. We love to be entertaining, but at some point we want to tee it up and play competitively. And they still have a lot of fire and a lot of competition in them. And frankly, they're highly, highly talented. So that's it, Lynn. That's a good synopsis of some things going on. And I appreciate the opportunity to tell everyone about it.
Yeah, Kathy, thank you. And so I agree, first off, you like to stay busy, and any one of these undertakings is just outstanding, but to be running them all at the same time, Kathy, is just amazing. And, they all have a place in our heart. And I'm just going to circle back to a place to play for a moment, because part of the concept there is to help golf courses that need some help. And,
Yep.
And as you know, from the conversations we've had the past couple of days in Frisco, that we have an assembly bill out there right now, 1910, from some folks down in Southern California looking to shut down municipal courses. And so Kathy, if you wouldn't mind a little bit on the approach to the facilities and how did you get them there, and talk to them about it and that type of thing, and actually start the program that you mentioned in West Palm Beach.
Well, great question and great information to share. We're in the process now of, we have created our 501c3 that there's a lot of the behind the scene things that have to happen before we can start reaching out to golf courses. So we've created that, we've got that behind us now. And now we're into the phase of starting to create the criteria. So it'll be an application process where if you feel like hey, I'd like to be one, I'll raise my hand, I'd like to be one of those golf courses, that there is an application process. And the way we're going to vet through that is that we're going to have the sections actually recommend to the national committee the golf course in my area that we would like to see some assistance given to, and then but they would go through this application process that says that makes certain criteria, and then we would come in and it's not just the funding. We would come in with a team of people that would overall assess and help. And the things we focused on now is that we've said this team needs to have an attorney, it needs to have an HR person, it needs to have an accountant, it needs to have an agronomist. So the team would be made up of experts, and it would not be just the funding, but it would also be something that would be some longevity and some longer assistance for these golf courses.
Yeah, Kathy, tremendous. And also, very exciting about the legacy revolving around the PGA Championship. Do you foresee that to be a permanent structure, whether it be a putting park or something along those lines that the cities will retain after, we're done and out of town?
Yes, that's the whole idea, is for it to be a permanent fixture. For example, in the Tulsa area, we've got a park that we've already secured that we're going to be renovating. There's a Kaiser Foundation that's already committed a significant amount of money, and then they're raising money on top of that. So that particular structure, because we have a local group that's all in with it, that's going to be pretty significant. And then many of you have heard the name Bo Welling. He designed one of the golf courses at the new PGA Frisco. He's actually donating his time to design a putting course. We're going to be using artificial turf on it so that the maintenance costs are low. But it's next to a museum and library area. So we love to see the kids go in there for their school trips and then come over and visit the golf park. So that's just an example, but we definitely want it to be a legacy that stays there permanently. The variable with the DC, what we're doing in conjunction with the KPMG Women's Championship, is this mobile unit. We do think we expect it to still stay in market. It's just a little different twist on it, because we're actually going to be subsidizing it a little bit and helping to get that around to more properties or to more communities and more neighborhoods. And we still expect it to be permanent in the sense that it stays in the area, but not a permanent structure.
Hey, Kathy, this is Tom. I have a question. I kid you a lot, which really isn't kidding. It's serious about the busiest become busier, and you certainly are that. You own a golf course, okay, and right now it comes to mind you're at least on another half dozen or so boards or committees. Well, not committees, but boards and functional activities. What advice would you have to all of us who want to aspire to own our own golf course or be our own manager, whatever we're doing, but yet be involved in all these different capacities in golf? How do we do that? What do we do to become that successful and be that involved?
Well, it's a great question. And the own golf course portion of that is that it's a commitment, and you have to be very intentional about it. And the first couple of years of ownership, I probably didn't do as much outside of that. It really took a couple years to kind of get some systems in place and things like that I really wanted to see happen. But overall, I think the right answer to that question is I have a good life balance. On top of that, people think I do nothing but work probably, but that's not the case. So to me, it's really about being able to compartmentalize your task. And when I'm focused on something, I'm all in on that one thing. So I think it's probably just when I'm working on one particular item, I'm all in on that item. I don't want to have to go back and revisit it. So I stay focused. I don't like to. I try not to get interrupted by other things until that task is done, and then I move to the next task. And so I work the same hours every other PGA professional works, which can be long at times, but there definitely is a way. And I think the other thing I would say is that there's so many things happening with our golf professionals. There's the employment committee, there's the education committee, there's PGA Reach, PGA Hope. There's so many ways to give back, and if you find that you are interested in that, reach out to a board member, reach out to your section office, and express that, because the more hands are the better, right? So and it's a labor of love. When you see golf change the lives of people, it truly is something that you want to keep doing, you want to keep contributing to. So I encourage people to get involved for sure.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, Kathy, just one or two more questions, and we're just trying to keep you out of the boardroom for a little while.
Yeah, thank you.
Certainly, play with a PGA coach, Kathy, that's incredible. President Whaley talked to us about golf being a game of invitation, and you've taken that a step further of let's invite each other and let's even go here to play with that. So I think that's just outstanding. And where did that come from, and how do you see that playing out? That's going to be just great.
Yeah, thank you, Lynn. Well, in our committee is my committee chair is Tony Martinez. He's my co-chair. And when we were talking with our committee members, it's actually a new committee, because player development was one heading, and now we've divided into juniors and adults, and we took on the adult portion of it. And we started talking about instruction and things like that is kind of where it originated. And then we moved into the space of what do we really want our golf professionals doing? They're going to teach, you're going to do some of those things, but what we really want them doing is building relationships with their guests, their members, the new golfers, trying to increase the comfort of the new golfer. How can we make that happen? Let's get them out there playing. How can we get them out there playing? It's easy to say, hey, do a play with the pro at your facility, and a lot of people do a play with the pro. But then we took it one step further, and we went to our experts at the PGA of America, and we said we need something that's going to make this really easy, going to make the invitation very easy, and going to make connecting the professional with the student very easy. And they came up with a great it's simple to sign up as a golf professional, and it's simple to register as someone who's going to be playing with the golf professional. So it is taking the concept to a position where it's really easy and user friendly, and the power of invitation. I wholeheartedly agree with what Susie has said about that. Is that there's one thing to say to someone, hey, let's go play golf someday. It's completely different type of invitation when you say, let's go play golf Friday at 10 a.m. I'm going to be there. I hope you join me Friday at 10 a.m. And that's really was our intent as well.
And then finally, Kathy, just the excitement of the Legends Tour. There are just so many great players that, as you say, still want to compete with Annika. We are actually honoring Annika in our largest foundation fundraiser this summer at the Langley. Annika will be there, and we're certainly looking forward to that. And I bet that's being really warmly received and welcomed.
It really is. And Legends Tour has been around for a while. It's just, it has never really got great traction. And and then it went a little dormant during the pandemic, which many things did. And so it was just the right time to revamp it, really the right time to give it some more energy, some more time, some more attention, and find some great sites for these talented golf professionals to play on.
Outstanding, Kathy. Okay, so we know you have enough to get you through the weekend.
Yeah.
So
Yes.
Kathy, we can't thank you enough for joining us, taking the time to come out of the board meeting, and thanks for everything that you're doing and continue to do. And we look forward to staying in touch with you and quite honestly, following your lead.
Well, I appreciate that, Lynn. And again, thank you for the opportunity to speak to this group and say hello to my friends, Tom and Nikki. Always a pleasure. And hope you have a good, really great rest of the day.
All right.
Thanks,
Thank you,
Kathy.
Kathy. Yeah.
Thank you.
Thanks,
Thanks,
everyone.
Kathy.
Okay, ladies and gentlemen, thank you. And thank you to Kathy Harbin. Now we're very excited to bring up our next guest, country music star, pop star, actually touring with the Eagles right now, Mr. Vince Gill. Vince, thank you for joining us. I believe you're in Chicago. And
I am. How
okay,
you guys doing?
we're doing great. Thanks so much. I've got want to make sure you have a chance to talk. So I've got a bio that would probably take up the rest of the half hour, but certain things. Born in Norman, Oklahoma, and his dad was an appellate judge and taught him how to play guitar at an early age. And in '76, joined the Pure Prairie League here in California. And with the release of Firing Up, which was 6 songs featuring Vince, introducing #1 country hit, Let Me Love You Tonight. And his first album with RCA was Turn Me Loose in 1984, and earning Vince the Academy of Country Music's Top Male Vocalist Award. And most notable work during this time was session guitars with Reba McEntire, Emmylou Harris, Roseanne Cash, and Bonnie Raitt. And When I Call Your Name in 1989 was a certified double platinum album, 2 million copies. While the title track earned Vince 1990 Grammy for Best Country Song. And next albums, Pocket Full of Gold in 1991, I Still Believe in You in 1992, were also multi-platinum. So let's do this, Vince, so you have a chance to talk. Jump to this, 5 consecutive Country Music Male Vocalist of the Year awards, 2-time Country Music Award Entertainer of the Year, 22-time Grammy winner, the only country artist to win 10 in a row. 4 songs reached #1 on the Billboard Country Chart, currently touring with the Eagles. And Vince, thank you so much. And also very recently just receiving the Golf Course Superintendents of America 2022 Old Tom Morris Award for your work and contributions to the Vinny with the kids in Tennessee. So Vince, thank you. Just grab any one of those topics and we'd love to hear from you.
Well, I'm pretty proud of that Old Tom Morris Award. I'll tell you, the music stuff is kind of meant to be and supposed to be, but you know, my love for golf is deep. And you mentioned I moved out to California as a 19-year-old kid, and playing golf out there in that climate is one of the greatest thrills of my life. And those were the days where it was hard to have 2 nickels to rub together to go play any place really, really nice. But if you could occasionally play, I lived in Hermosa Beach, California for quite a while, and a couple of really nice mini courses out there that I spent an awful lot of time at, and have a great fondness for Southern California. And I just, you know, I've loved the game since I was a kid. You know, I was as passionate probably about golf as I was about music. I was just a little bit better guitar player than I was putter. So I chose the right profession.
Well, Vince, I think you did pretty well there too, because the bio does say you're a scratch golfer. Yeah.
Yeah, I played, like I said, I played my whole life, played through school. And the cool thing that happened where I grew up in Oklahoma, I grew up in Oklahoma City, and they had the best junior golf program there. You know, this was early 60s. And if you were a junior golfer, we had play dates a couple of times a week. And if you, we play 9-hole, you know, matches. And if you shot the lowest score, you get your name in the paper. And there was a kid named Jimmy Woodward that was my age, and he went on to play on tour off and on a little bit, and never a world beater, but a pretty good guy and a dear friend of mine. And every time we'd have those play days, he'd shoot 38 and I'd shoot 39, and he'd shoot 39 and I'd shoot 40, and he'd shoot 36 and I'd shoot 37. And he was my nemesis my whole golf career. So he kind of helped, like I said, point me towards that music, which I was a little bit better at. But I played my whole life, and lowest round I ever shot was a 62, playing with an old tour player named Bobby Walcott. He played at Georgia University, and we were close friends. And so every now and then I can kind of figure it out, but as the years go along, it gets harder and harder.
Hey, Vince, this is Tom.
Hey, Tommy.
How you doing? Hey,
I'm good. Thanks for coming to San Diego the other day.
Yeah.
I'm
Hey,
glad.
thanks for everything. And you bring up Jimmy Woodward. He's a former Southern California
I know.
golf professional, one of our former section champions, and so that's a nice.
Something Randy in Thousand Oaks.
Yep.
And
Yeah.
I can't remember the name of it. Yeah. But
Yeah,
we still visit and talk. He's a good man.
Yeah, he's a good. It was a loss when he left Southern Cal. Kind of tie in your, we're all you're our favorites. There's still, and I love the stuff you do with Allison Krauss, and I listen to that and watch that on YouTube over and over and over again. Literally, my wife will validate that. But you're also in the Tennessee Golf Hall of Fame. Your PGA Distinguished Service Award. Why is golf so important to you? I think that's an important question for everybody, whether you're an athlete or whether you're a country music or a pop star, whatever. And why is golf so important to you?
Well, I think for me, a lot of it was similar to music in that you had to be creative. Music is done by creating something in your head and putting it out in the air, and it's a sound and this and that. But with golf, it's visual. You see the shot, you create what you have to do. And I always enjoyed, figuring out how do I get out of trouble, and it made you be creative, and plus it's the coolest part of the game is it doesn't matter what day it is, you're never going to master it. You're gonna miss a shot, you're gonna mess up a hole, you're gonna, some days you're gonna be awful, some days you're gonna be great. Some days you're going to make the putt, some days you're not. It's a constant. It's always moving, and it's never something. You shoot a basket and it goes in. You've accomplished it. And same thing for golf, but you could make a 3 or a 9. There's a lot of in between too. But I love the serenity of golf, of being outside. I love the beauty of it. I will drive by an open area and visualize holes. I'll visualize golf holes. Years ago, Jay Haas and I are really good friends, and they were kind of encouraging him to try to design a golf course in Middle Tennessee in a really neat property. And he called and said, "Will you come down and see this place with me?" And I said, "Sure." So we were talking, and he said, "Why don't you?" He said, "You're a great player. Will you design this course with me?" And I said, "Well, with all due respect, Jay," I said, "I wouldn't ask you to come and help me make a record, so I'm not going to come down and try to help you design a golf course."
Good answer.
But I love the game, and like I said earlier, when we were kids and we played junior golf, here's what I forgot to mention was all the municipal courses. If you were a junior golfer, the green fees were 50 cents or maybe 75 cents, and my mom could give me a couple of bucks and drop me off when the sun came up and said, "Here's a couple of bucks for a hamburger, and I'll pick you up at dark." It was the greatest babysitter in the world. We played, 45 holes a day, just walking and walking and walking, and that was pretty amazing. I don't know that golf was as popular in the early '60s as it probably is today, and a lot more people out there, filling up the tee times, and oftentimes the kids get pushed aside in a sense. And that was one of the reasons I started the Vinny was golf tournament in Middle Tennessee. I wanted to you know, make it better for kids to have the opportunity, just to have a chance to make a good decision. I think the kids would always do that. And so we did that for, golly, 27 years. We did the Vinny, raised close to $10 million for junior golf all across the state of Tennessee. And it went in all areas. It went to, municipal golf. It went to some of the good players. And there was a Vince Gill Junior Tour for a while. And we incorporated the kids playing in the Vinny with the people that were, coming to pay to play with the pros and the celebrities. And I said, man, let's have the kids play so these people can see what their money is creating. Some of these kids that can really play, it's a 12-year-old kid that can bust it by everybody in the group. It's kind of fun.
Yeah, you mentioned municipal golf and appreciate that comment, because right now in California, we're in a real battle. I don't know if you've heard this, but where there's some legislation, an assembly bill out where, in a nutshell, will allow municipal agencies to take over, if you will, the municipal golf courses and turn them into housing. We're calling it the Golf Endangerment Act here in California. As a matter of fact, Kevin Fitzgerald and Craig Kessler will talk about that when we're done here. So we ought to have you write a letter. That's pretty cool. Your comments, or we'll send the recording that the comments you just made regarding how important municipal golf courses are to our legislators. So appreciate those comments very much, by the way.
Thank you. Life just evolves, it changes, and the problems that become problems were not problems years ago. And I don't, those, man, tough subject, because you don't want to be, you love golf and you don't want to see what golf is given to people, in our lifetimes.
Yeah.
But, the plight of homelessness is real,
Yeah,
and
that's for sure.
I think they can figure it out. I don't know that golf courses are necessarily it's also, some of that stems from the haves and the have-nots. That gap has grown mightily in my lifetime, in that with technology and they're figuring out ways to kind of obliterate the middle class. And that's where all those people live, is middle class folks that don't have enough money to join a club and pay the dues. And I was that kid. My folks didn't have enough money to join a club where I could go play anytime I wanted, and so it was different, but once, like I said, things change and everything's, you can go down the line with the amount of, even in my industry, in the music industry, little by little, with there not being any CDs to sell anymore per se, or albums to sell anymore, it's taken out so many middlemen that we're able to make a living off the sale of my records. I always thought that people were short-sighted, thinking we were criminals charging $20 for a record, and I said, you know how many people make a living off that $20 record? I said, you don't think a thing about spending $20 at Starbucks, drink some coffee and have a couple of Danishes or whatever, and I'm giving you something for $20 that'll last you the rest of your life. And I don't understand how you think I'm taking advantage of something, and it's not worth that. Music has been devalued just severely, in the last 20 or 30 years, and it's had quite an impact on us.
Well, we
so
sure.
Yeah, I mean, it's the stuff you love,
Yep.
those songs and those people.
That's right.
But I hope they don't do that.
Songs are with us our entire life.
Yeah, they really do last, and playing with these guys in the Eagles, it's a great testament to why they're who they are. It's because their songs are so good. They're so identifiable. They're memorable. Every part of them is memorable. And, I was a 19-year-old kid moving to California as a young musician, and that was the gold standard with those records those guys made. here I am, but I'll be turning 65 here in a month, and it's just like pinch me that I'm playing in the band with them.
Yeah,
You
lucky
just
you.
never know.
Well,
Yeah.
thank you, and thanks for what you're doing, and enjoy your concert tomorrow night. It'll be fun for you and fun for us to listen to it as well. So thanks a lot. Appreciate it, Lynn.
You guys have a great one and keep fighting the good fight.
Thanks, Vince. Thanks so much for joining us. Good luck tonight.
All right. Bye, guys.
Bye. Okay, thanks so much, Tom, for actually getting in touch with Vince and bringing him on this morning. Just tremendous and different perspective, but yet to the success of the game that we love so much, and so many people are involved in so many deep ways to keep it going.
Yeah,
So,
well, thanks to Dick Horton, who is the former executive director of the Tennessee section and executive director of the Tennessee Golf Foundation that Vince referred to as Vinny Tournament, that
Yeah.
raised a lot of money in 27 years, and he continues to be active. So that's really great. And Dick is still active and persevering in that role. So that's pretty cool stuff. So it's nice to have Vince Gill and be able to talk with Vince, and especially with his history.
Yeah, tremendous. It's a game of a lifetime, and it couldn't be proven any more than that. Ladies and gentlemen, next up, we have Kevin Fitzgerald. Kevin is the Assistant Director of Public Affairs for the Southern California Golf Association. And we did have our California Alliance for Golf legislative call this morning to continue talks about Assembly Bill 1910. Last year, we knew it as Assembly Bill 672. And as Tom mentioned, and has come up in a couple of conversations this morning, this is conversion of publicly owned golf courses to affordable housing. So the bill has gone to a couple of iterations. However, we do have the first committee meeting next week here in Sacramento. And then, Kevin, love you to, first off, thank you for joining us this morning to bring everybody up to date on the upcoming meetings. We have housing next week, and then local government in a couple weeks, and then appropriations after that. And Kevin, you would talk a little bit about the drive and how we can best position ourselves to beat this back.
Thank you, Len, and thank you for having me today. Certainly been a fantastic broadcast, and happy to try to share a little bit of a process update about Assembly Bill 1910, and also provide some information about our arguments that we feel are quite strong in support of municipal golf. So we've heard a little bit about it already on the broadcast today, but as a brief review, essentially Assembly Bill 1910, or what the SCGA and the California Alliance for Golf are referring to as the Public Golf Endangerment Act, is a bill that would require the Housing and Community Development Department to provide incentives in the form of grants to local agencies that enter into development agreements to convert publicly owned golf courses into housing. So I think it's important to acknowledge what proponents of the bill are arguing, and then explain what the California Alliance for Golf is doing to fight the bill. So essentially, supporters have argued that the California golf industry is in decline, that California's publicly owned municipal golf courses are underutilized, that municipal golf courses are subsidized, that California's municipal golf courses are not parks under California law, and that the Public Park Preservation Act is not applicable to repurposing parks for non-park recreation or open space purposes, and how that affects public parkland that is being utilized for municipal golf courses. So CAG and all of its constituent organizations, which I think everyone today understands is those on the call, and so the PGA sections, the Southern California Golf Association, Northern California Golf Association, the superintendents, the Club Managers Association, the Golf Course Owners Association, and so on and so forth. So the Alliance has filed letters with the Housing and Community Development Committee, and really in response to what we see as those assertions about municipal golf that are misleading, misrepresented, or unfounded. And I think a really important point to share is that the National Golf Foundation and numerous national organizations have provided assistance in this effort, filed their own letters with the Housing and Community Development Committee in support of golf and in opposition to this bill. And important for everyone to hear the following. So National Golf Foundation, which does a great deal of industry research, reported that more golf was played in 2021 than any year in American history. And I think that's really important for everyone in golf, everyone who loves the game, to hear that and be able to share that in your own conversations. National Golf Foundation reported that there was more golf played in 2021 than any year in American history. The Alliance also addressed the notion of courses being subsidized, and in its comments letter showed that it provided some factual data to contradict that assertion. The letter also includes information about the Public Park Preservation Act, and that it clearly explains our analysis of the act. And the Alliance also reached out and secured a legislative and legal analysis to analyze our arguments, and we're very comfortable and very confident in those arguments. So Public Park Preservation Act restricts public agencies, including cities, counties, state agencies, from using parkland for non-park purposes. And when it comes to the question of whether a municipal golf course is a park, we also included information from which clearly shows that California courts have determined that providing golf is a legitimate park purpose. So that's sort of where things stand at the moment. As a bit of a process update, we will expect this bill to continue to move through the legislative process. We're not going to be surprised by how next Wednesday turns out. It was already mentioned that next Wednesday is the hearing in housing. And if the bill moves through housing, as Assembly Bill 672 did, essentially it was the same bill. And it seems like we've been talking about this piece of legislation forever. In part, it's a long process, and the bill has a new number, but it's again beginning to filter through the legislature. So that housing committee hearing is next Wednesday, the 23rd at 9:30 a.m. And if it passes through the housing committee, it will move on to the local government committee. The bill was referred to both of those policy committees, and then it would need to get through appropriations because it is a fiscal bill. So if it then gets through appropriations, it would move to a final floor vote where it would then move on to the Senate. So we're early in the process. While the housing committee hearing is set for next week, we don't know for sure what will happen next week. We expect that there will be a greater chance for the bill to stall in local government, but that's where things stand. And then I will say that we have been collecting and encouraging those in the golf industry, and also all of our golfers, our clubs, our organizations throughout the state, and even around the country. Anyone interested in supporting this effort is encouraged to do so. I have been collecting letters, organizational letters from national partners, from our member clubs, and filing those letters on their behalf specifically to the two policy committees. I think we had an incredible outpouring of support. I'm not sure exactly where the number stands as of today, but I think we're in the range of at least 100 organizational letters filed for next Wednesday's hearing. And just in case anyone might have an urge to want to craft a letter, you can find some information on the Public Golf Endangerment Act landing page. It will sort of walk you through the process. I'm happy to collect any additional comments and get those comments in. As far as the Housing Committee, the portal is closed in terms of comments getting into the bill analysis, the record, but letters are still being received and would be considered to some degree. Typically, that portal closes about a week in advance of the meeting. So again, we don't know when the local government committee hearing will be, but we certainly expect that it will be a couple weeks from now at the very least. So there's plenty of time to submit comments directly to local government. And finally, there's, as much as the California Alliance for Golf has a particular lane and, can provide, a certain credibility and 30,000 foot view of policy that impacts golf, constituents, real live golfers, and those who work in the industries, they're in a different lane. You can reach out directly to your representatives. And I think it's sort of a two-part strategy. We are trying to make our case, submit comments to the committee specifically, but then also we have reached out to our members, encouraging them to reach out to specifically to their representatives. So really sort of a broad strategy in terms of making sure that legislators know that there are 3.6 million golfers in this state, and that's a pretty significant number. And we want to make sure that those in the Capitol and Sacramento are aware that golf finds this bill to be extremely damaging. We've sort of explained it as a potentially a watershed moment for golf in this state. And it's also raised that interest on a national level because it's so often repeated, but so often what sort of starts in California and the West Coast moves east. And so I think that's why we're seeing quite a few eyebrows raised and so much support. And with that, I know that time is getting short. I certainly want to be a resource. If I can be of any assistance to anyone who might have further questions or might be interested to submit comments or see how they can help, please don't hesitate to reach out to me, anyone else on this call, and we'll try to help facilitate that engagement. And thanks again for having me. And with that, I will hand it back to Len and Tom.
Thank you, Kevin. And so everyone on the call knows and is aware that we, the Northern California PGA, Southern California PGA, and as Kevin mentioned, the amateur bodies, Northern California Golf Association and Southern California Golf Association, are represented as well with our partners, industry partners, in the California Alliance for Golf letters. But please know that we also filed organizational letters individually on behalf of opposition to Assembly Bill 1910. At the hearing next Wednesday, our Vice President, Nick Bailey, will be representing us in Sacramento and allowed to speak in opposition to the bill. And Southern California Assistant Executive Director and Chief Operating Officer Nikki Gatch will be in Sacramento representing us as well. So we feel like we're in good hands there and are fighting the good fight. It's pretty sophisticated, but we have Craig and we have Kevin and we have Tony Rice and all of our constituents on the California Alliance for Golf in support of it and helping us. So Kevin, I will ask you to address one thing, is that one of the organizations that has jumped in is the United States Golf Association. So that's the first of a number of big hammers. So I would think that we're really grateful that they're there and coming to the table in support of opposing the bill.
Absolutely. And it's the first example that I'm aware of where the USGA has sort of overtly dipped its toes into the water in this advocacy space. Their letter, their comments were, I would say, extremely supportive of municipal golf, and also provided information on sort of an intellectual level, using much of the research that they've invested as an organization so much in, through the green section and working with universities around the country, and turf management and really the environmental benefits of golf courses in urban areas. So it was extremely, we're extremely appreciative of that letter and that support. And they're not alone. We've seen that from various other national organizations as well. So very, very encouraging. I feel like in this moment, there's so much unity in support of municipal golf. And if I'm looking for sort of that silver lining at the moment, I think that's it. We've seen more engagement, more support, and sometimes you get out ahead of things, and there's been an awful lot of work building to this moment so that if we were to be tested, that we could sort of rally the troops and organize, and I think we're doing that well. And I think it's always important to also to share that we're making our arguments. We're not political organizations. We don't get involved in elections, electoral politics. The reason we are fully engaged on this issue is because this is about golf and golf alone. And then from there, as an extension, this is about park space. So I've shared this before, and I think it's important to share here. If you read the bill, you see that golf is singled out among park uses. But I'm a recreational enthusiast. I like to hike and sort of enjoy passive recreation. I also like to enjoy other forms of active recreation. And I think that we're also starting to see support from other recreational interests and particularly parks departments that are concerned about what the erosion of the Park Preservation Act might mean, not only for municipal golf courses, but what does this mean for the future of park space? California is unique in its parkland protections. That this is not something that every state has. And so, we had enough decision makers decades ago who sort of realized that, well, wait a minute, that if we don't protect park space, we're not going to have any. And so I think this would be interesting because it's first of its kind for golf, absolutely. And at the same time, it's first of its kind as far as eroding those park protections. And I think, that's starting to concern others in the park space.
Kevin, thank you. Obviously, we'll stay at it. And as organizations, we will continue to put out links and information to our memberships, our members, associates, our industry partners, and present them with an opportunity to file on behalf of opposing this bill. So Kevin, thank you so much for being with us this morning. And the other thing to consider, as Kevin mentioned, is very important. We start viewing this as a California issue, and Nevada issue as part of our section, but then we also view it as a national issue. And part of this fight is to keep it within these state lines and kill it as we did the first time only a couple of months ago as well, so it doesn't spread across the country. And certainly the theme of all our guests today. And as we start to wind down, I'd like to turn it back to Mr. Addis. Tom?
Yeah, thanks, Len. I'd like to reiterate too how important your letters are and were in our first go round with this, and we appreciate that. And as Len said, we'll continue to ask for your support and help in regards to writing those letters to your state representative, whether it's a representative or a Senate member. So keep your eyes and ears open for that information, and because it'll continue to flow. Look on scpga.com and scga.org for all of the information, at least here in Southern California. So, and a reminder too that let's not forget that tragedy in West Texas this past week with that University of the Southwest golf team and that horrible accident down there, and keep everyone in that community and that university and the members of the golf world down there in your thoughts and minds. It's something that we won't forget, and pray that it never happens again. So Len, thank you very much, and thanks to everybody. And again, thanks to Nikki and Bryce, and thanks to Vince Gill. It was great to spend some time with him. And of course, Kathy Harbin, who we have the great fortune to see on a regular basis. Thank you.
Thank you, Tom. You know, the theme of today was obviously the love of the game, undoubtedly, and how it crosses so many lines and so many borders and keeps us together for so many generations. So as Tom mentioned, thanks to our guests, Kathy Harbin, Vince Gill, and to the team, Nikki, Bryce, Shelby, Jeff, and everyone. And Tom, thank you for bringing up the tragic accident that happened this past Wednesday with the team that was returning from their Texas competition back home to New Mexico. And as Tom mentioned, please keep them near and dear to your hearts. And with that, Tom, we'll see each other when on their next chat.
Yeah, let's take a look at and we expect April 22nd. Try to keep them in the middle of the month. I know it's a busy time right now, and it has been and will continue to be. So we appreciate those of you who are with us today, and we look forward to April 22nd and another session with you.
Perfect. Thanks. Thank you, everyone, again for joining us. Be safe, stay close to the family and friends, and take care of each other. And we'll see you on the 22nd.